So welcome everybody to this latest GCSE revision video on 162 Maths. In this video we'll be going over the AQA GCSE topic test on the high syllabus based around basic number, decimals and fractions. Now there will be a copy of the question paper in the description below for you to download as always, and also you can have a go at that and then you can continue watching the video as we go through the answers. So let's get started on this AQA GCSE Maths topic test on the high syllabus on basic number and fractions and decimals. So in terms of our first questions, let's just scroll down to that. So it says circle the smallest number. Now what we want to try and do here is have the common denominator, because as you can see the denominators are very different. So here our common denominator is going to be 20. So if we rewrite each fraction over 20, so that's going to be 6 over 20, this is going to be 4 over 20, and this is going to be 5 over 20. So which of these is the smallest? Well, it's going to be 1/5. The next question then says to circle the largest number, and the largest number is going to be 4.1 recurring. For question 3, it says circle the decimal that is equivalent to 21 over 20. Now one way of doing this is actually you can do long division to try and work out what the decimal equivalent is, or you could write this as over 10 and then that then becomes 10.5. Now from this what we then want to do is if you divide by 10, technically you're moving the decimal point one place to then for it to become 1.05. Then for question 4, all we need to do here is do some decimal multiplication. So here if we do, and again there's several ways in which you can do this, so as long as you get the correct answer and you're showing the correct working out, then that should be absolutely fine. So an example would be to do 715 times 8, in which that's going to give me 40. 8 plus 4 is 12. 8 times 7 is going to give me 56, plus 1 is 57. And 8 times 4 is 32, plus 5 is 37. And then obviously moving the decimal point back to its correct place, we should have an answer of 37.72. Well, actually no, that's a lie, moving the decimal point one extra place, so we should have 3.772. and there's our final answer. So moving on to question 5, it says work out 1 2/3 times 4 1/5 and give your answer in its simplest form. So for this what we need to do is first of all convert these two fractions into improper fractions, and we do that by multiplying the big number by the bottom, adding it to the top, and the bottom number stays the same. So 1 times 3 is 3, plus 2 is 5, so it's 5 over 3, times 4 times 5, which is 20, plus 1 is 21 over 5. Now from this we can then simplify, and again you can either do the multiplication and then simplify. It's entirely up to you. So the 5's cancel and the 3 cancels, in which we just get an answer of 7. Then moving on to our next question, so question 6, it says use approximations to estimate the value of 204 times 3.99 all divided by 0.11. Now for this what we need to do is basically round each of these numbers to one sig fig. So what we've got is we're going to have 200 multiplied by 4 all divided by 0.1, which then becomes 800 divided by 0.1, and then that gives us an answer of 8,000. Again, if you're not too sure about how I've got from that jump, is if we multiplied both the terms by 10, then I get 8,000 over 1, which gives me my final answer of 8,000. Then moving on to question 7, it says Mia has a rectangle of cloth. She dips the top 5/8 of the cloth in blue dye. She then dips the bottom 9/20 of the cloth in yellow dye. The part of the cloth that is dipped in both colours turns green. Work out the fraction of the cloth that turns green. Now for this all we need to do here is, I'll do this on the screen here, is basically add the fractions and then see what extra we get. So here we've got 5 over 8 plus 9 over 20, which again if we have a common denominator of 40, then what we end up with is 25 plus 18, which gives me 43 over 40. So how much is left over? Well, 1 minus 43 over 40 is 3 over 40. So that's how much would be blue. So the answer there is 3 over 40. Then moving on to question 8, which is not the last question. So question 8 says that a show is on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. 2/5 of the total tickets sold are for the Saturday show. 240 tickets are sold for the Saturday show. 3 times as many tickets are sold for the Sunday show as for the Friday show. How many tickets are sold for the Sunday show? Now, for this, let's just have a look at what information we have been given. Well, we know that we've got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We know that 240 tickets were sold on Sunday, and that equates for 2/5 of the total tickets. And we know that if Friday sold A tickets, or let's call it X, sold X, then Sunday they sold 3 times as much. And what the question is asking is, what is 3x? Now, in terms of working this out, well, we know that we've got, if 2/5 equals 240, then we need to work out what 5/5 are. And how do we do that? Well, we're going to do 240 divided by 2 multiplied by 5, which gives us 600 tickets were sold in total. Now, in terms of that, what we then need to work out, well, we know that 4x equals the difference in the tickets. So it's 600 take away 240. So 4x equals, and that's going to be 360. So then x equals 360 divided by 4, which is 90. Now, if Sunday is 3x, then it'll be 3 times 90, which gives us an answer of 270. Now for question 9, there is a little bit of a mistake on here, but the question is asking us to express 0.23 recurring as a fraction in its simplest form. Now for this, what we need to do is follow the steps. So we write it so it's equal to 0. Then we multiply it x by, and both sides by 10, so we get 2.3 recurring. If I multiply it by 100x, I'm going to get 23.3 recurring. And then if I take these two things over, I get 100x equals 23.3 recurring. 10x equals 2.3 recurring. If I take away the two things, end up with 90x equals, and it's going to be 21. So x equals 21 over 90. And that then simplifies to give me 7 over 30, and there is my final answer. And that concludes the end of this topic test.